Okay, well, you may know some of this, but I don't know. Back in the mid-1960s, my wife and I volunteered as missionaries with an organization, OMS International, the headquarters currently in Greenwood, Indiana. And we were then ultimately assigned as radio missionaries to Radio 4BH in Haiti. I had been working for Crown International over the Elkhart. Crown International is an electronics firm. They're still in business. Mostly doing amplifiers and microphones now. At that time, they were building tape recorders. And the owner of that factory was named the name of Clarence Moore, WNILZX, who is considered to be the father of the cuticle cloth antenna. And at the time I was working there, he also had a radio station in Elkhart, WCMR. In fact, he had the station studios on the same grounds, right in the same adjacent building. And he had the antennas out back. And while I was working there in the recorder factory, I would do double duty because I at that time had a ham license and also a commercial, first-class commercial license. And so I would take meter readings and leave my job there at the bench and go back in the house and take meter readings of the transmitters and antennas and kind of whenever I was on duty, like every hour or whatever was necessary. Well, when we moved to Haiti after we spent a year in language study, I was assigned then as the manager and the technical director of Radio 4BH. Edna was working as a secretary of the radio station, and as well as being a mother to our 3 daughters. And after 16 years in Haiti, we were reassigned. I worked myself out of the job partly because we were training the Haitians to be technical director. And we had trained another Haitian lawyer who became the manager of the station. Anyway, we were then reassigned to radio station HCJB in Quito, Ecuador. So after 16 years in Haiti and having learned French and Creole languages, we went to South America and learned Spanish, at least the working knowledge of it. And in Haiti, I was the tech honcho, basically. We had an older missionary who was there as an engineer, but he was also Spanish speaking, and they had Spanish broadcasts, so he took care of some of the older stuff. I was basically in charge of the technical as well as the manager. So it was really as though the Almighty powers had a sense of humor, because when I went to Ecuador, instead of being the head honcho, I was one of a team of between 28 and 30 engineers. And my job in Ecuador was in the antenna and transmitter divisions. And whereas in Haiti I had the Now, what I wanted to do this morning was just share a few of the technical challenges that I faced in this work. I find these are usually of interest to hams. And I'm going to use notes. I used to be pretty good at extemporaneously speaking, but I found out that I'm getting older, I'm getting sidetracked, and I get involved with detail that's of interest to me and couldn't be of any less interest to other people. So my main presentation will be on HCJB in Ecuador. And I'll be showing some video on that, but there are a couple of things about the Haiti setup I thought would be of interest, might be of interest to you guys. And so I'll just want to mention a little bit about that. Here you can pass those around. When we first came to Haiti, they had 2 small transmitters. They actually had, I think, 3 transmitters on the air, 4 of them, and several of them were short wave, just low power stuff, like 150 watts broadcast from, but they were on short wave, one on 19 meters, one on 30 meters, 25 meters, and one on 31 meters. In fact, one of the transmitter of 19 meters had been a ham transmitter that he had built while he was a technical school in the States and taken it along to Haiti. And the government in Haiti at one point back in the 50s confiscated the ham equipment. And they found out that they're going to be confiscated. That guy spent a whole night running a generator and converting his ham transmitter over to a 19-meter broadcast transmitter. And the next morning, next day when they came around to gather equipment, that was on the air broadcasting at 19 meters. And so that thing was still in operation. But that was a day of a lot of shortwave broadcasting. There was really a lot of it going on. They were getting requests for QSL cards from all over the world. When they were broadcasting in between 10 and 14 languages at a time. Where do you get all these programs? They have language departments right there in the city. They produced their own programs. We had a Swedish department. There were four Swedish people there. And the common language with some of these people that I had to learn was Spanish, because they were Swedish and Spanish. They weren't English. Same way with Portuguese. Same way with German. I knew something. We had German. We had Japanese. We had Finnish. We didn't have any African languages, but we had European, Russian. The Russian director was a good friend of mine. And then in addition to that, they had like 7 or 8 different Quichua Indian languages that they broadcasted. So there's all this spectrum of broadcasting going on. And our job was to maintain the transmitters and the antennas. Now, one of the things that I soon learned that was different from ham radio there is when you put up an antenna, we put up an antenna and we hope now, we put it up this way, it ought to be easier to match. You put up one time it has something like 51 feet or so, and it's 300 or something like that. Easier you can put Allen in. And, but they didn't look at it that way. They looked at it this way. They said, okay, we have an audience we want to reach. They have a polar chart like this, based on Quito. And our audience is over here, this part of Russia. We want to use that part of Russia speaks a certain language, and they calculate how wide the audience is. They calculate the distance. And then they design antennas to accomplish that. Then after they have the antenna designed, and sometimes even after it's built, they say, okay, now we've got to match this thing. And so then comes the matching process. I'll tell you, when I came down there, engineers were using slide rules. And they were really, and some of them were really good at it. But of course, then came the day of computers, and towards the end, then we had computers. But we were on it there for 6 years, 5 years. But, so that was the philosophy, different from our ham philosophy of building an antenna that's easy to match. Now, I'm going to talk a bit about the different kinds of antennas they had. First antenna that was very popular, most of them, and I'm going to pass these around too, was the curtain antenna. And some of you may know all about a curtain antenna, I don't know. But the curtain antenna, look at that sheet there, you see. I'm drawing.